The minimum viable product, or MVP, I'll explain what it is later. By now, you should know why it's important to talk to your potential customers. You want to understand what their needs and their pains are, so you can come up with a solution that addresses these. The next step is to find out whether the solution that you come up with is actually something that your customer wants. You can of course go back to them and ask them, and they probably say, yes, looks great, but the only way to really find out whether it is true is to build something that they can actually use and are prepared to pay for. So the next thing you need to do is to build a product. There's a well-known mistake that many startups make when building their first product. They've talked to their customers, they know what their customer wants, or maybe they start building their product based on what they think that their customer wants, and they keep on building their product until it's completely finished and bug-free before they present it to their customer. And then they're surprised to see that their customer, who was so enthusiastic at the beginning, is now suddenly not that happy anymore, because the product that they built might look a bit different than their customer expected, or maybe it functions not the way they want it, or they've changed their mind and they want a totally different set of features. This means that valuable time and money has been wasted on developing a product that nobody actually really wants. A better way to deal with this issue, and here it comes, is to build a minimum viable product. There are many definitions going around, but it was first introduced by Eric Ries, author of the Lean Startup, as that version of a new product that gives you the maximum amount of validated learning for your customers with the minimum amount of effort. So that means that product that gives you the most information about what your customers really want. I prefer to use a slightly stricter definition. The minimum viable product is that minimum thing that you can build that creates value for your customer. Because creating value for your customer is the most important thing. Customers are only prepared to pay for your product if it generates value for them. And a paying customer is what makes your startup a business. So the minimum viable product is the simplest thing you can make that a customer is prepared to use and pay for. The minimum viable product will give you feedback on what your customer really wants and how he's using your product. You need this feedback to further develop your final product. And a minimum viable product can be more minimum than you think. It should be such that you might feel a bit ashamed to release your minimum viable product to your customer, because that means that it's really early stage and this is exactly what it's supposed to be. There's only one thing you should keep in mind though. You cannot sell your minimum viable product to just any customer, because not every customer is prepared to buy a product that's not completely finished yet. You have to select the right type of customer. There are different types of customers and they buy products for different reasons. You can roughly distinguish three types. By far the largest group is called the majority. Those are the ones you eventually want to sell your product to. But the majority doesn't buy new technologies right away. They want to see it proven and easy to use, and they'll only buy a product that's completely finished and has all the right features. The second type is the early adopters. Those are the people who always want to be in the forefront of new development. An early adopter is somebody who embraces new technologies. Early adopter buys new products and services sooner than other people would do. The last group is the laggards. Those are people that are reluctant to new technologies. Laggards are typically people that don't have a flat screen television or smartphone yet. You all know them. Even though early adopters only represent a small percentage of your customer, they are the most important for you, as they are the first to buy new technologies or products. Early adopters are typically the ones you want to address with your MVP. An early adopter buys a product because he believes in the vision it represents and he is able to overcome flaws or missing features in the product. Take for instance electric cars. In the beginning you could not charge them anywhere, or their range was such that you could not go very far. Only an early adopter would buy an electric car at that stage, whereas the majority of people would think, I'll wait a while until the product is more developed and completely finished. In the end, you want to be able to sell to the majority, but then you need a product that they really want. Making an MVP and using it on early adopters is a good way to get feedback that you need to develop this product, without spending a lot of time and money on developing the wrong features. minimum viable product is the simplest thing that you can release. It should have 3 characteristics. First of all, it should have enough value for somebody willing to use or pay for it. Second of all, it should demonstrate future value in order to retain an early adopter. And third of all, it should be able to provide you with the feedback you need for your further development. The catch with the minimum viable product is that the early adopter should be able to see the promise of the vision of the final product and that they're able to provide you with the feedback you need for your further development. If this doesn't happen, the approach won't work. This is a difficult question to answer because it depends very much on what kind of product you are developing. For software products, it's usually about demonstrating certain functionality without the need to actually writing the code. It could be that you only build the web interface and perform every other function manually in the background. For hardware products, it typically means that you demonstrate only certain functions and you do not develop every feature. It might also be that the product is not that user-friendly yet, or that it doesn't work automatically. The most important thing is to know what your riskiest assumptions are that you want to test with your early adopters and build them in your MPV. It's not about the nice-to-have functions or features, it's about identifying the key elements, the essential functions that should be in your product for a customer wanting to buy it. The take-home message of this video is that you should not spend a lot of time and money on developing a product that your customer might not really want. Instead, identify your early adopters, build a minimum viable product to test and validate your riskiest assumptions with them and use their input to iterate towards a product that you can sell to that many customers that it will fulfill your founder's dream. Good luck!